everyone. Nuxt as a headless CMS. Well, my name is Debbie O'Brien, as you know, Head of Learning Developer Advocate at Nuxt.js, a writer for Ultimate Courses and a teacher at Vue School, and I'm a Google Developer Expert, a Media Developer Expert for Cloudinary, and a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional. And don't forget, you can follow me LinkedIn, Debbie O'Brien, or Twitter, Debs_O'Brien. Okay, let's get started. The Nuxt content module has had 85,000 plus downloads since I created this slide. And that was like, yeah, that's kind of gone up quite a bit. So if you check that now, it's more than that, 85,000 downloads. And that's like since it was released in April. So you're talking about a couple of months. Absolutely incredible. So the content module is a Git-based headless CMS. Cool, right? But what is a Git-based headless CMS? There's a lot of confusion about this. Some people get it, some people don't. I'm going to explain it in a little bit of an easier way. You all know I like Taekwondo, right? Yeah, this is me at a competition doing a flying technique, because in Taekwondo we like to take the head off people because that's just kind of cool, right? So this is basically what we want to do. With a headless CMS, we want to remove the head from the body. Simple as that. I mean, that's basically it. So if you kind of like think of like separating the front end and the back end, we're taking the head away from the body. That's basically what we're doing. And as I said, in Taekwondo, we love to do this so much. So yeah, let's get rid of the head. Let's keep the head and the body separate. So when we talk about a Git-based headless CMS, this is exactly what we mean. So we've got like, you know, in Taekwondo, you could basically say, or you could say in normal life, the head shouldn't be removed from the body, right? But if you look at sometimes, it's actually meant to be designed that way. So the body in Taekwondo, if you're going to fight Olympic style, this is the body armor. It is not connected to the headgear. The headgear is separate, and it's designed that way for a specific reason, because then you can like easily interchange things. So for example, the body, you can turn it inside out, and then you have red. So you don't need to buy two, right? And then you can just change the headgear, and then you're just changing that around to a different color, and now you can use the same body with a different head. And that's basically the kind of perception we want to get at. You want to be able to use the same body with a different head and mix it around. And that's kind of where the headless thing comes in, right? It's not mixed. It's not kind of, you know, stuck together. So how it works with content is, going back to Taekwondo, we have our body, right? And the body is like our content folder. So this is like our back end. This is our data. And our front end is the app. So the head, that's what you see. Everyone looks at the head of someone, right? You look at the beautiful face, and that's what you're showing to the world, the beautiful face, your application. And the body has got all that data, all that interesting stuff that needs to get out there. So thanks to Nuxt content module, we can now say goodbye to WordPress. Yes, finally. Oh, so exciting. We're also going to say goodbye to Storyblock. We're going to say goodbye to Prismic. I know you're getting angry right now. Wait for it. You're going to say goodbye to Strapi and to Sanity and all those other amazing CMSs, because we don't need them anymore. Okay, so what's next? What have you got to do if you're going to like get rid of those CMSs and just take on Nuxt content? Very simple. What you're going to do is we're going to create Git courses for all the marketing team, right? So you're working in an agency, you now need to get all that marketing team of that client and start teaching them Git. All the managers, yeah, you're going to have to teach them Git as well. They're all going to need to know Git because it's a Git-based headless CMS. So courses for them. Git courses for my mother, because she's also working on a blog, and you know, we're going to show her that you can do this blog with Nuxt content. So going to have to teach my mother Git. Git courses for everyone. Simple as that. If we can teach Git to everyone, we can take over the world with Nuxt content. That's our plan. I mean, it's not that difficult, right? You know, like Git cheat sheet, you know, I could sit there with my mother and say, you just got to get a Git config and put a global username in, and then you like just Git init and Git add. And I mean, it's simple, right? They've kind of got to use the terminal. Yeah, I mean, the terminal's not that difficult either, right? I mean, it's black and white. It's kind of like, you know, it's quite easy to see. They'll be fine, right? And if not, I mean, they could just get Kraken or some other kind of, you know, GitHub desktop or something. I'm sure they could find a way of using it and getting it right, you know? And there's like crash courses for Git. I mean, you can go and just learn Git. I think, yeah, I mean, they can do it, right? So there are two kinds of people in this world, right? There is the kind of people like my mother who like these big, massive buttons that need to be very, very clear so they can press play or save or open, and it's very distinguishable. Yeah, they need that kind of interface. And then you've got people like me who kind of like just, you know, like to look at a load of code and try and figure out what I've got to do and try and just, yeah, I don't need those big buttons. Sometimes they just get in my way. I mean, then there's like the kind of people who like a bit of both, but we're not going to talk about those people right now. So content module is built for the people that like code, basically. It's not built for the people with the big, massive buttons. Content module has no login. It has no user interface, no big, massive, beautiful interface, buttons, press save, press open, nothing like that. So what the hell does it have? Let me show you. So with Nuxt content, going back to Taekwondo, as I've said before, you have your front end, that's your app, and then the body, that is the content folder, right? That's what is created when you use the content module, you get a content folder. And in here, what's gonna live in here is whatever you wanna write in. So if you wanna write in Markdown, then you just write your Markdown in the content folder. You could also use JSON, you could use YAML, you could use CSV. So you just put all your content in there. So just to give you an example, right? So if I was going to create an amazing blog post, I'm going to name it amazing blog post, and I'm going to put it in an articles folder inside the content folder. So you can actually use folders as well. You don't have to put it at the root level. So I've created the articles folder, and I've made my beautiful, amazing blog post that literally says writing direct and Markdown in the content folder, right? That's my blog post. It's so amazing. And I'm going to give it a title and a description. So we can use YAML at the top of our Markdown to give it a title and description. My amazing blog post. And the description is why using content is amazing, right? Simple. So how do we now access our content? We've created the content, it's been really easy. We now want to access it. Back to Taekwondo again. So we have our app, that's our headless part of the front end part. And we've got our body, that's our data part, our back end part, right? So the content folder, I've put an articles folder inside it, and I've created amazingblogpost.md. Okay, got it so far. Let's carry on. I'm going to use fetch. I'm going to use fetch to basically fetch the content folder. Simple as that. That is all I need to do. Just use fetch. Easy, right? Let me show you how. So basically, this is some code I wrote earlier because I was afraid to do the live, you know, in case like, you know, I lost internet connection. So no live coding, already been pre-prepared just in case of the Wi-Fi. So export default, and we're basically just going to use async data, and we're passing in $content. That's really important. The params, so look, really important. We need to use the $content. And then we're basically using params. So params is for dynamic pages. So if you didn't have a dynamic page, then you won't need this. But if you have a dynamic page and it's called like blog slug, for example, then you're going to use the params. And then you're basically saying that the const article await the $content that we passed into the context. Articles, because I named the folder articles, right? That's the name of the folder. You could have called that blog post. You could have called it post. You could have called it whatever you want. And then I'm using params.slug because that's the file name. That's the name of my Vue file, the slug. And then I'm basically using fetch, and I'm returning article. I'm returning article because I said const article. I could have said const post and return post, okay? And I'm going to get my amazing blog post. Cool, right? I mean, that's it. That's all we need to do. And now I've got my blog post. It's as simple as that. Actually, you got to do something else, but it's really simple. So you need to like display it, right? We fetched it. So it's kind of like there, but it's not on our page. So people can't really see it. So in order to be able to see it, we're going to use our Vue template, and we're going to use the article tag. That's just a HTML tag. Don't get distracted by that. It could be a div. And then we're using the magic of Nuxt content. This is the component you need to be able to get that data back, right? So we're using Nuxt content, and we're using document. So important. Document is important. And article is the returned object from fetch. Remember we said const article return article. So here I'm passing in article. If I had said const post return post, I would put post here, or anything you want. Okay, simple as that. So remember that the document is what is inside the body of the Markdown file. If you remember earlier, we had just a line of Markdown that I wrote, and then a title and description. The document is just giving me what's inside the markdown. It's not going to give me what's inside the YAML. So that will basically give me that beautiful text I wrote, that beautiful article, writing direct in Markdown in the content folder. Okay, so what else do I need to do? I want to be able to get the title and the description. So how am I going to get that? Very simple. I've already returned the article, so I have access to this article, and inside article, I have a title and I have a description. So I can basically just use article.title, article.description, and now I've got a beautiful page with a title, description, and my amazing blog post. Simple as that. So yeah, that's basically all you've got to do to get your content on your page. How cool. Okay, so we can do a little bit more than that, right? So we can basically say that you only want the title. And then you could maybe for the, like, you know, a navigation, for example, you could only get the title, sort it by the title, fetch that, and there you go. Then you can use that in a different page. Really, really cool. You can do even more. You can use the where. It's using LokiDB under the hood. You can use where to basically, like, say you had an author and you want to get like a page where the author name is specific to the author page. So the author page is author's Debbie, and you go to the Debbie page, and then you just want all the articles written by me. So you could use the where to be able to get that. And you can see there I put without body, because maybe I only want to show the links to the articles or the title and description, maybe an image. You could put an image in the YAML as well, but you don't want to show the whole body. You don't want to fetch all that. So you can basically just put without body, and then you won't get any of the markdown content for that specific call. So that's really cool. So a few features. What else do you get with Nuxt content? You get a previous and next, right? So it's really easy. Get a previous and next. So you're reading one blog post, you want to go to the next blog post, go back to the other blog post, previous and next, easily created for you. Table of contents. So just by using like H2s and H3s in your Markdown, it's going to create a table of contents for you that you can really, really easily use. So that's great as well if you're doing documentation or you're writing like really big, long tutorials and you want to have a table of contents. Really cool. Code blocks, right? Because we're not like my mother, right? We all like to write code. So yeah, we have code blocks. We can put code blocks into the code, into the Markdown, and then just like easily display, nicely display code. Uses Prism.js as well for like making it beautiful. And you can use Vue components. Now I know some of you are saying, Vue components in Markdown, really? Oh, yeah, it's actually really cool. And it has its use cases. I'm not saying you should always only use Vue components in Markdown, but there are times and places you can do it. Like, for example, I built a quiz and you can put your questions in the YAML, the answers in the YAML, and then just put the quiz component in, and it's going to get the data from the YAML, and you can do like really amazing things. So it's really worth thinking about and looking into. Don't be scared by it. So a few other features, style your content. So we've got like easy styling, so we can easily style all that content in the Nuxt content folder. You can add a search field, so you can, like, you know, search for your blog post, and this is like really, really easy to do. And you can have live edit. Yeah, I know. Live edit. What does that mean? That means you can open in dev mode. You can go to your browser, Chrome, let's say, and then you can see like what it's going to be like live. And then you can like just click it. And as you click, you're going to get the basically the YAML and the Markdown. And from that, you are basically able to edit it, and it's going to save it directly in your editor. So that's kind of really, really cool. So basically, yeah, this is basically what it looks like. And as you can see, you're basically going to say, right, I'm going to like, I'm going to click here. I'm going to change this, make a little modification, and then it saves it. I can go up to the top, and I can even like take the YAML and change the title or the description, and then just save that, and it will completely save it right there and then. So that's kind of really, really cool. Live Edit is fantastic. I use it so much. It's just a really quick way of like fixing typos and just making some nice small edits. So snippets, we have some really, really cool snippets. So on the Nuxt content docs, you can just go and take the snippets for a search and then put it into your code and start using it. And that makes it like really, really easy to just add that search, the same as pagination, the table of contents, and dynamic routing. So that's all created for you. Just go to the Nuxt content docs, take that snippet, put it in your project, and bang, you've got it. So Nuxt content, the Git-based headless CMS for Nuxt. And there's more. I know, like, really? More? We have more? Yes. Content is amazing. Just thought I'd say that in case you didn't realize that already. So Nuxt content also has a docs theme. What? Yeah. So if you're creating documentation, or if you've created a really, really cool module, you want to create some documentation for it, or you have an existing project in a docs theme that you're not happy with and you want to migrate it over, content is the one. Let me show you how this works. So basically, simple command, yarn create Nuxt content docs, and the project name, whatever your project is called, my module or my lovely project or whatever. And that's going to now create the docs theme for you. So what's it going to give you? It's going to give you a content folder, obviously, using content. It's going to give you a static folder. It's going to give you a Tailwind config. You can easily add internationalization. You can sort by category. I know, right? So this is going to be created for you, and it's already like going to give you this kind of like little mini demo, some demo pages for all this. You've already got a project up and running, and then you just have to like modify it, edit it to your liking, to what you want to add the content, etc. And out of the box, you already get access to a table of contents component, the previous and next. It gets the search, the light and dark mode, the link to edit the page on GitHub, on the version and release notes. And I'm not saying that this is just there and you've got to like find out how to add it. This is actually all created for you. This is all part of your like little mini demo that's given to you, that you now have, that you just have to edit the content, and you've got all this working. So you can set up a docs theme in literally a space of like 2 minutes. Like literally in 2 minutes, you have all that, and then you just change and add the content yourself. That's it. Simple. It's really, really, really cool. I encourage everyone to just check it out. To give you an example of the components, because we're also giving you components that you can use in your Markdown files just to make your documentation even better. So you're going to get an alert component. Everyone needs alerts, right? You have a list component, so you can put features of your product or whatever. Badge, so you know, nice little badge. A code group, so you can put all your code into it, and a code block, and a code sandbox. So you might have created a code sandbox, and you want to add that link and add it into your Markdown. So this component, just by adding in the link, will add the code sandbox directly into your Markdown. So that's kind of really cool. To give you an idea what it looks like, okay, so the alert, beautifully designed, and this is basically it. And you basically just put alert, right, and write the code you want, and it supports like a link and a code highlighting, and you can just put like type equals warning if you want a warning one, and you can put type equals success if you want a success one, etc. So really cool, already there, easy to use. List component, in the YAML you just put like, you know, your items and item 1, item 2, item 3, whatever that will be, and then you use the list component where the items equals to items, right? Simple as that. And then you'll see that beautiful 3 ticks there with item 1, item 2, and item 3. So really cool. A badge, like I said, nice little badge, very simple component, very good for versioning. So if you want to like have different documentation for different versions and state that, that's really kind of cool. This is my favorite. I absolutely love this because it just takes up less space in the documentation, and I think everyone should use this. So you can have like, you know, when you have yarn add and npm install, and it just like takes up so much space. Well, now with this, it's not interactive. Click, are you yarn? Are you an npm? And obviously like you can put more stuff in there and use whatever you want. So very, very easy to use, really, really cool. Code sandbox. So like I said, you put the link of the code sandbox into the YAML, and then you basically just use the code sandbox component that we created and put source equals to link. And then you've got code sandbox live in your Markdown page. Really, really cool. So just to give you an example, this is one that's already created, but just will show you what you're getting, right? So you've got like, you put your logo up on the left, you put them in the static folder, then you've got basically your table of contents, or your navigation, actually, I should say, with the introduction guide, and you can have different categories, right? So you can just by putting a category name, you can put under guide or under examples, if we've done here. You got the releases page that's coming from GitHub. You've got the search that's already there and it's working. You've got the version number, the link to Twitter and GitHub. You've got the table of contents on the right where you can click down and see what's at the end of each page. And that's all coming out of the box, especially for you. Like I said before, you've also got dark mode. So this is it in dark mode. And as you can see down at the bottom there, you've got the previous and the next, and you can click back and forth between previous and next, and you can change and go back to light mode if you want to. So again, really, really, really cool. This is all created for you. The components there has like the file name, and it also has a copy button. I think everyone should just start creating documentation with Nuxt content, because it's just fantastic, right? I know, oh, I love it. So yeah, where do I start, right? That's the question we're all asking. Where do I start? I want to do this right now. I want to just like code straight away. Where do you start? So basically, really simple, yarn create Nuxt content docs and add your project name. That's all you need to do. Really simple. And you can put it into an existing project. So if you've already got a project up and running, which you would have if you have a module, you want to add the docs as part of that module, then you just like create your project name. Could be called docs, for example, and then you'll have that, you know, docs folder inside your actual project. So yeah, you can add it as a new project or into an existing project. So simply just go to content.nuxt.js.org. You have all the documentation there. Everything's there. So you can just get started and like literally like stop waiting. This is why I'm wearing red, right? I'm like the girl in red there. And I'm just like going for it. The blue's like going, hang on a minute. I've got to think about this. Stop thinking. Just get it done. Just go out there, get all your documentation written and start testing it out. Like I said, stop waiting for things to happen. Go out and make them happen. Welcome to content. Welcome to Nuxt. Thank you very much.